He's elegant, indestructible, and probably the last Mercedes built with both heart and mind. The legendary W124, a car that shaped generations and still stands today as the definition of German engineering excellence. In this video, I'll show you why the W124 remains so beloved, which engines are truly worth it, from the legendary OM601 to the cult classic OM606, and what you should look for if you're thinking about buying one yourself. So sit back, relax, and join me on a journey back to an era when Mercedes built cars for eternity. In 1984, Mercedes introduced the W124 as the successor to the W123, already famous as the taxi king and long-distance champion. Designer Bruno Sacco created a shape that was both modern and timeless. Clean lines, perfect proportions, and aerodynamics that were far ahead of their time. With a drag coefficient of just 0.29, the W124 was one of the most efficient cars of its class. Back then, Mercedes had one goal: to build a car that would last 30 years, no matter the cost. And you can still feel that today. The doors close like a vault, the interior barely ages, and even after 250,000 miles, a well-maintained W124 still drives like new. Between 1984 and 1996, over 2.5 million units were built. Sedans, wagons, coupes, convertibles, and even all-wheel drive versions under the name 4MATIC. In 1993, it officially became the E-Class, and to this day, many say it was the last true one. Why is the W124 so legendary? First, because of its build quality. No thin sheet metal, no cheap plastics. Everything feels solid and engineered to last. Then there's the suspension. The newly developed multi-link rear axle was a masterpiece at the time. Comfortable yet extremely stable in corners. Safety was also top-notch. ABS, airbags, seatbelt tensioners, features that were pure luxury in the mid-80s. And finally, durability. Mercedes engineered every component to outlast the car itself, and many W124s prove that daily on the road. Simply put, the W124 doesn't get old. It matures. Let's start with the petrol engines, from the modest 4 cylinders to the Porsche-built monsters. The M102 was the standard engine until the early 90s, found in the 200 and 230 petrol models. Simple, tough, and reliable, but not particularly fast. Perfect for everyday driving, cheap to maintain, but a little rough around the edges. From 1993 onwards came the M111, more modern, more efficient, smoother. It's the better choice for daily use. Lower fuel consumption, easy maintenance, and great reliability. Then we have the M103, found in the 260 and 300 petrol models. It's nearly indestructible, smooth, torquey, and robust, but thirsty, averaging around 12 litres per 100 kilometres, about 20 miles per gallon. The M104 followed, and with 4 valves per cylinder and up to 3.2 litres of displacement. Powerful and refined, but with a few known issues. Oil leaks from the head gasket and, in later models, wiring harness degradation. Still, many enthusiasts consider the M104 one of the best inline-sixes Mercedes ever built. And then come the big ones, the 400 and 500 petrol 8 cylinders. The 500 petrol was built in cooperation with Porsche. 5 litres of displacement, over 320 horsepower, hand-assembled. A true wolf in sheep's clothing. Luxurious like a limousine, fast like a sports car. Today, these V8s are collector's items. Expensive to maintain, but almost guaranteed to increase in value. Now let's talk about the heart of the W124 legend. The diesel engines. The OM601, the indestructible workhorse, came with 2.0 or 2.5 litres, 4 cylinders, no electronics, no turbo, just honest old-school mechanics. These engines run forever. Many reach over 1 million kilometres with regular oil changes. They are slow, painfully slow, but economical and truly unkillable. Then there's the OM602, the 5-cylinder. Smoother, torquier, and just as durable. The 300 diesel with the OM602 is considered by many the sweet spot. Reliable, refined, and balanced. Next came the OM603, the early 6-cylinder diesel. A great engine, but with a well-known weakness. Early cylinder heads before 1989 could crack if overheated. Later versions are reliable, and the 300 turbo diesel with about 150 horsepower is still a highway beast even today. And then, the legend, the OM606. Introduced in 1993, this 3.0-litre inline-six featured 4 valves per cylinder and represented the peak of Mercedes diesel engineering. Without a turbo, it made about 136 horsepower. With a turbo, up to 177 horsepower and 330 newton-meters of torque. It runs silky smooth and lasts forever. Many call it the best diesel Mercedes ever made. The advantages: extremely durable, especially the turbo version, smooth operation, good performance, and huge tuning potential. The downsides: timing chains can stretch over time, and turbo versions can develop boost leaks if not properly maintained. Spare parts are a bit pricier than the older diesels, but overall the OM606 is the king of the old-school diesels. Powerful, reliable, and timeless. Of course, the W124 isn't perfect. Let's look at its typical weak spots. Rust is the biggest issue around wheel arches, jacking points, doors, and the rear end. Late models suffer from degrading wiring insulation. Repairable, but time-consuming. The vacuum-operated central locking system can fail from small leaks. Air conditioning systems often don't work anymore and are expensive to fix. Automatic gearboxes are sturdy, but only if serviced regularly. And after decades, most suspension bushings and dampers will need replacing. The good news: everything is known, parts are still widely available, and with a bit of care and patience, you can have a car that outlasts most new ones. Now to the important question: what does a W124 cost today, and which one is worth buying? Here are the current price ranges in US dollars. A 200 or 230 petrol goes for around $10,000 to $15,000. A 6-cylinder petrol, like the 300, runs $15,000 to $25,000. Diesel models, from OM601 to OM606, are between $12,000 and $22,000 depending on condition. Coupes and cabriolets fetch between $20,000 and $40,000, and the legendary 500 petrol starts at $60,000, with top examples easily exceeding $100,000. My advice: if you want a daily driver, go for a clean 220 petrol or 300 diesel. If you're a collector, the 500 petrol or an OM606 diesel is the crown jewel. And most importantly, look for a rust-free car with a documented service history and a healthy drivetrain. Mechanical issues can be fixed. Rust will ruin your ownership experience. The Mercedes W124 isn't just a classic car, it's a statement. Built in an era when engineers had the final word, not accountants. Whether it's a diesel workhorse, a smooth 6-cylinder cruiser, or a 500 petrol legend, the W124 represents what Mercedes once stood for: quality without compromise. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more classic car stories, and tell me in the comments, which W124 do you think is the true king? Thanks for watching, and see you next time.